That's doing that. Hello, stream. Hello. Welcome. I will just double check you can hear me correctly. But we are doing some painting. We are back to it. That's doing that. Yeah, sounds about right. Okay, so yeah, we're back on it. Guns of War. Going to finish off some artillery. Foolishly. So we're going to base some of our artillery today. But I'm pretty sure I've got some more somewhere, but I can't find them. I've only got 5 bases. And we've got 6 guns. So, yeah, I'm sure I've got some more somewhere. I just can't find them right now. So whilst I was waiting, I've ordered some. So we'll base up what we can. And then crack on painting, because we were a bit of the way through last time. We just started some other artillery, so yeah. I've been painting a little bit this week away from stream, so finished off the artillery guns, and I just made a start on these 4 guns here. So these are some 3-inch ordnance and then some howitzers. So apparently howitzers are like a brass barrel, which I didn't realise. I thought they'd be black, or painted black, you know. So yeah, cool. But I don't mind that. I like the guns being brass, and then the 3-inch ordnance are black. So I'm feeling a little bit under the weather today, so I'm going to see how far we'll stream for. I'll try go till 10, but we'll have a look. I guess to start the stream. Hello everyone, welcome in. Everyone watching this back on YouTube, hello, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, why not consider checking out some of the previous streams? They're all up on YouTube, where you can just start following this through, really. So we've just basically at the moment been painting up some artillery. We're going to get through the last of it, and then jump into something else, whether that's infantry, cavalry, or commands. So yeah, I'd like to a quick shout out to a long time channel supporter, Mark, who's normally around for the streams. He'll probably be out around a bit, but they a while ago I had channel memberships, and Mark was a channel member. Now they've kind of moved the goalpost slightly on channel memberships, so I've lost channel memberships now, but I've accrued some money in there, so I've used that to put into the American Civil War collection. So consider it a donation from Mark. I've got a model come in, and what I want to do, anyone who's interested in doing any donations, obviously don't have to, but if someone wants to, I want to obviously buy stuff to help the collection, and then probably just do a stream on it, chuck a stream up to paint up whatever we get. So what Mark's donated is coming in the post, so we will do a stream when that arrives. I've got a link down, or I'll chuck a link in the description, possibly now. If not, it'll be ready when this goes up live. And that's to a website, which is like a bit of a wish list thing. Again, don't have to, but if anyone wants to, the idea is you can just do that. It's just a way of supporting me and just expanding that channel. I've tried to do some stuff, anything I'm interested in, stuff I haven't already done on the channel, and I'm going to use it as an opportunity to showcase some cool miniatures. So yeah, something in the post already. There is something that is going to be coming in as well. I'm just not quite sure yet when I'm going to order it, just because yeah, long story. So let's get down to it. I think we'll chuck some miniatures on the base first. I'll just show off how I do that, and then we'll get on painting. So yeah, but yeah, big thanks to everyone who supported the channel, whether that's through liking, watching these streams, commenting on stuff, subscribing, sharing videos or whatever. It's always a huge help, and I really appreciate it, so thank you. Right, let's do this. So I've forgotten what guns are what at the moment, so I think in the last couple of streams I've been piecing together exactly what guns I want for my Union or Confederates or whatever, and I forgot. So I know, pretty sure I've got some large Parrot guns for the Union. I know I wanted them. These are sort of larger guns compared to these ones. I don't know if you can see that on the stream. So this one's just a little bit smaller. So I don't know whether these are just sort of larger ordnance guns, but that's cool. So the larger guns will probably go Union, and then the not so larger ones I'll put down for the Confederates. So yeah, these are obviously still muzzle loaded. I know near the end of the war you start getting breech loaders, but these are muzzle loaded rifled guns. So let's talk about how I do this. Let's pick. I'll just do these couple of Confederates. I'll put these Confederate guns on. So I need to get them off the base to start with. Let's cut them off. Easy, right. Save these. I always try to reuse these. I don't know. Something, why not? Seems a waste, just throw them away. Okay, so this chap here's got his lanyard, so he's got the firing lanyard. This guy is getting ready to load. This guy's got his thumb on the gun. This guy's got that, and he is waiting to... Yeah, I'll probably, as simple as that, just glue it down. The way I used to do is say, hello, Mark, welcome in. You just missed me saying what a wonderful channel support you are, and thank you. Ooh, cool. Cannon flooring. Floors for the cannons, correct. I probably should actually say, whilst we're here, 2mm MDF is what I use. This is 60mm by 100mm. So 60mm frontage, 100mm depth. Again, I took this from Battle Bunker, Lee over at Battle Bunker, because they looked really good how they base up theirs. They do use two different measurements, two different base sizes. One's a bit longer for sort of the loaders, like if you're loading a gun you got to have a guy at the front and the back. So I went for this one, and I find I can have most gun positions on there, so yeah, good. But yes, welcome in, Mark. Hello. John Clargy. Hello, welcome in. Hello from North London. Well, hello from the southwest, sunny southwest. So yeah, we're just gonna. Any of you who have missed the start of the stream, I was going to base all the current artillery chaps I've painted. I'm going to base them all, but I realised I've only got 5 bases, and we've got 6 artillery crews. So I've gone and ordered some on the wonderful app of eBay, but we'll just do what we can. But yes, welcome in. I hope everyone's had a good weekend. I was just saying, I'm feeling a bit under the weather, so I'll see how the stream goes. I'm going to try go till about 10. But it might have to be a bit less than that. We'll see. So this first gun, so we've got this guy here with a lanyard. So if anyone doesn't know, you have a bit like this guy here. So you have a firing pin that they put in the back of the gun, and basically it's almost like a flint or something like that. So when you pull it, it creates a spark, and then that would ignite the gunpowder inside the cannon. So let's talk about that. I sound like I'm being an expert. I don't actually know. It's only from my experience of what I'm doing through the hobby. But let's talk about how the gun fires. So obviously you've got the main gun. What you're going to do is you're going to have this chap here. He's got the piece. So he's basically, you send a runner back to your caisson. He collects what round you want. You run it back to a chap here who takes it to the front of the gun. That's where you got this chappy here. He's got a sponger and a rammer. So you'll load the shot into the barrel, you'll ram it down. At the same time, you've actually got this chap here who's, if you can see there, he's got his thumb. And what he'll do, he'll put his thumb over the hole at the back of the cannon, at the back where the lanyard goes, because the idea is you put, say, first time firing a gun, you load the shot with the gunpowder, ram it in, then the guy comes out, puts his lanyard in, everyone clears it, and then the lanyard's on a bit of the lanyard is a bit of rope. He pulls it, ping, makes spark, fires a cannon, and then out comes the sponger. So what you'll do is you roll the cannon back up, aim it, and then you'll have the guy come in with a sponge. What he'll do is get water on there. He'll sponge down the barrel to make sure there's no anything hot in the barrel, because that might cause an early ignition. At the same time, you'll have someone thumb the vent at the back where the firing pin goes. Because again, you want to stop any oxygen getting into the barrel in case there is anything lit. So you'll have that, thumb it. So then, yeah, you'll wash the barrel down, and then load it up again, ram down the shot, ram down the whatever you're firing, and then the guy takes his thumb out, and then that's where the person comes in. He spikes the hole, so you'll spike the gunpowder pouch, and then put the lanyard in, firing pin, ready to boom. So yeah, really simplified, but there you go. So it's always worth having an understanding of how the guns work when you're modelling them. This works obviously not just American Civil War, same theory as Napoleonics. I wonder if I cut this guy's thumb off so I can get a little bit closer. Nip. Yeah, same as Napoleonics. Using the same guns, more or less. But yeah, having that understanding of how the guns fire and stuff, then you know sort of how you're modelling them. And I think it's, you know, for accuracy sake, I think it's good to have a good understanding of how the guns fire, and then you just makes your models that bit better. So there you go, first gun done. I'd normally have him probably in a bit more of an active pose, ready to ram the cartridge down, but again, going back to the very start of these artillery models I've got, they were all sort of hodgepodge from a bundle of metal minis I bought off eBay, so I'm just piecing together sets at the moment, but there you go. One Confederate rifled artillery piece. So yeah. So I believe normally a firing team is about 8 people or 7 people. So you'll probably have an NCO here as well who'll be aiming the gun. And then you'll have someone at the caisson and then someone running between the caisson. So the Perry Miniatures, if you buy some artillery from them, they got a bit of paper, like a leaflet that comes with it, and it tells you all that. So but there you go. One artillery piece done. So there you can sit over there. I'm really liking this butternut colour I've gone for. It looks good. I'm happy with it. So we're going to do something very similar with this guy. So if you can see this chap here, this is actually the first lot of miniatures. I'll come down lower, haven't I, because my camera's in the way. Nice painting, thank you very much. It's a fairly new painting scheme to me. I'm starting to use more contrast paints because I just want to shift through some models. So I've gone to contrast painting rather than my traditional sort of layered paints. But no, I'm fairly happy with the result. Yeah, so we're going to go for the same thing here. He's thumbing the barrel. This guy's actually holding a pole, like a sponger, but I think it's modelled to the point where he's going to be up against the barrel, so it's all the way in there. And then similar to this guy, he's got the shot ready to go. So basically, it's very similar to how these are. They're prepping the shot. So we'll put them on now. How are you, John? Anyway, have you had a good weekend? Are you working on any miniatures tonight, or you just having a nice relaxed one? We try to have a nice relaxed one in this stream, as it is a Sunday night after all, and we've got work tomorrow. But yeah, my Confederates are getting a bit some much needed artillery support. I've got I've got 6 gun crews that need painting. Like I said, after the end of last last stream we just started painting Rockridge artillery, which is old stone walls, original artillery battery. That was with him and his brigade. Robert, hello, welcome in. Welcome in. I'm just gluing up some previously painted miniatures that I've been doing over the last few streams. If you haven't seen that, by all means, go check out the other streams if you want. Yeah, so I've been painting up all these batteries. So see that I'm trying to do it where he's sponging down the barrel, although the doesn't quite line up. I haven't actually prepped the bottom of these very well. Guy thumb in the barrel lines up well. My tip for any of these sort of metal miniatures, again, I don't want to tell people how to suck eggs, but look at the bottom here where they've I've actually done it on this one, I haven't done it on the others, but where they've kind of come off the casting, tends to be uneven, so they don't naturally sit down nice. And I always just take I've got like an old file here, metal file, and I just take the worst of it off so it sits nice. And I haven't done it on the others, and it's annoying, but it doesn't massively matter. But yeah, John, you're painting World War II Japanese infantry. Oh, very nice, very nice. I would be tempted if I hadn't got too much on the go as it is. Do like the Japanese stuff. Yes, you've seen my other videos. Ah, nice. So you've managed to follow through the journey that we've been on with this artillery stuff. That's cool. We're sort of coming into an end with these guys. Now, I do have some more artillery that need painting up, which we're going to get onto now. Once I've finished basing these. Let me move that mouse out of the way. Let's bring these down here so you can see them. So that is 2 Parrot rifles for the Confederates. Now I've got 2 Parrot rifles again, but these are just bigger. I don't know whether different manufacturers just have a different scale, or whether these are actually meant to just be a bigger gun. Either way, these are bigger guns. So these are actually these 2 Union crews I've got here, they are both firing, so yeah, we'll use, yep, we'll have 2 firers, so right. So they're all going to be stood at the back if it's firing, stood out in the way of the gun. So I'm going to, with my loaders, the gun tends to sit further back on the base, but with the firing, the gun sits to the front of the base. It just gives more room for the crew to stand behind out of the way. You working on anything tonight, Robert? You got anything on the painting desk? We've got some World War II Japanese stuff being painted. I'm just rattling through this. It's my CW. Yeah, hopefully we'll get on to fishing up at least a couple more of this crew. Might have to have a look at. I'll have to figure out how I want my HQ, what bases I want them on. Hello, Thomas. Welcome in. Working on some uni work. No worries, mate. Are you doing any paint tonight, or just rattling on with some more? Gonna finish any more uni stuff, or are you done with uni work for the night? We're just basing up the artillery crew we've been painting up over the last couple of weeks. Is he not stopped down yet? No. So let's get rid of these. These don't need to be here. These guns don't need to be here. There. And go there. Right, did I glue that one down? I did. Okay. So once these, we might attempt to start basing some of these as well. We'll see how we get on. I got some crew that... Yeah, I've rather mistakenly not got enough artillery bases. So I can't base up all the crew we've got here right now. But I've ordered some. So hopefully next Sunday, when we carry on doing our stream, we can finish off the last of them. And we might have some more done by then. Right, so... I'm going to stand him like facing away from this gun. And then the lanyard... I think he'll have his back to the gun as well, because he's pulled away from it, and this lanyard's because yeah, no one wants a ring in ear. Well, I can't imagine they'd escape it much, to be honest, with what's going off. There you go. These are nice sculpt, these ones, because they kind of all got their hands over their ears, because obviously the gun's going off. It's probably quite loud. I've got some Mexican bandits to get done when I'm feeling better. Ooh, very nice. What's what a sort of era is that? Is that sort of Wild West? Right. The camera's sort of in the way, so you're not going to be able to see some of it. Right. Whenever we do some of the basing on these artillery, I think I've got about 10 other guns that I painted a very long time ago that are just based up. They haven't been, you know, I've put them on the bases, but I haven't finished the bases. I mean, the bases are fairly easy to do. They're not that. Right, so this is it. I'm going to have to get Pilgrims. Ah, cool. Right. See, I've got his... I don't know if I should have him out of the way. I wonder if this guy should be facing the other way. Oh, no, I think that way's better, actually. Peeled him off his base now. So we'll go there. Right. Cool. Thomas, just about to start working on for Gamble's Cavalry Brigade. They're going to do some Union Zouaves of Cochrane's Legion. Oh yeah, we were talking about Cochrane's Legion last time, weren't we? Very nice, very nice. Villa Drake, I'm late to the party. What are the guns, please? So the guns are odds and sods artillery for the Meg Civil War. So over the last couple of weeks, we've been painting up a load of artillery crew and guns. So I'm just basing up what we've finished so far. So we've got 2 Parrot rifles that I've painted up for the Confederates. So they are, yeah, so rifled guns. And then I've got basically 2 rifle guns as well for the Union. Now these are sculpted a bit bigger, the barrels. So I don't know the idea of that. Maybe they're just larger rifled guns. So, which maybe the Union would have more of, you know, who knows. That's what I want to do, so that's what I've done. So yeah, here we go. I mean, you think about like First Manassas. I think one of the Union brigades took like a 32-pounder cannon into battle. So yeah. So yeah, and then I have one more artillery crew ready. And I'll use these ones, which is a firing gun. Oh, that's a firing gun, actually. Maybe I mix and match them. Just realised I've got these two crews now. They're like in a firing pose, but they've got no one with a lanyard. Whereas this is more of a stationary pose, and they've got someone ripping a firing pin. So maybe I swap these two around. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Again, it's making the most out of what I've got, because these are a bit odds and sods. So yeah, just there we go. And they need a gun, and I'm going to give them a Napoleon. You working on anything, the Village Rake? You got anything on the table tonight? I'll show off what else. So this is what else we've got on the painting table. So see the red guns of the Rockridge. So we'll probably paint them up tonight at least, and then we've got 4 more Perry miniature plastic guns. Stuff. And then as for the current collection of artillery pieces, which I showed previously, I think it was only the Warlord Games artillery that I've actually based up properly. So here's the rest of my collection of guns, which yeah, all need to be based. So we're getting there. What did I use them to get the minis off the base? I just used some side cutters, little hobby tools. On another note, just got the draw for my groups for a large ACW campaign, playing as Union. I'm going to take my Irish Brigade and the Philadelphia/California Brigade. Nice one. What rule set are you using? I assume it's in 28mm. I always like big games. I was at my local games club today, Bristol Independent Gaming, for anyone who wants to know. Not sponsored. I wish they would. It was yeah, it's a massive Warlord Games Hail Caesar epic game going on, and it was about across like 4 tables, and there's about 12 players. It looks awesome. Village Rate, yes, I'm painting some 15mm Confederate Colonels, Essex 15mm. Ah, nice. I know Essex are up there with the quality, but yeah, I've not really gone out much scale wise with my American Civil War. And I've got some tiny scales, so I've got some 2mm American Civil War. Yeah, I've not really branched out into anything else. I've gone with 28mm, and that's sort of where I enjoy painting 28mm, if I'm honest. It's rare I get games. I've done one game. What's going on there? Yeah, I've got one game under my belt with Lee from Battle Bunker HQ, which was really good fun. And that was like 28mm. We played some Pickers Charge, but yeah, I rarely get games in at the moment, which is a shame. Anyway, that's our cruise. So some Confederate rifled guns and a Napoleon, 12-pound Napoleon, should I say? And then here you go. So that's some of our crews painted up. Which leaves one more crew and then a couple of HQs I've done up, which I've got to figure out how I want to base the HQs. Might just do them on round bases. Oh, I wonder if that's a bag of... No, it's not. Just for a second there, I thought I had some more bases. Found them. Oh, I'm an idiot. I knew I had them somewhere. Right, we've got some more artillery bases. I knew I had them somewhere. I knew it. I knew it. The one place I did check was just right behind me. Ah, what bloody fool. Anyway, I've gone and bought more now, so there we are. But we can put that last artillery crew on, which is good. Right. Yeah, 28mm, 7v7. Rules depend on the night. Either sharp practice for our weeknight games and large black powder games for the main campaign on the weekend. Ooh, yeah, nice. Oh, so it's a big campaign, but it's going to be broken down into like smaller games like Sharps. Because obviously Sharps practice at a big scale game would, I imagine maybe it'd be tough to play. I don't know. From my experience of Sharps practice, it works well for sort of small skirmish games. But then Black Powder again is probably good. Well, Black Powder is good for large games. It's a lot more simplified in a way. Have you played the Perry miniatures? Is it Fortitude and Valor? Valor and Fortitude. That was quite good. I quite like the look of that. Or again, Picker's Charge. I've played that. I enjoyed that. They're looking brilliant. Thank you very much, Robert. That's very kind. 16x4 table. Nice. Yeah, it's the only problem with like if you want to do like really big games, you're kind of restricted on you just got to go wide because you can't go overly too deep because not many people are going to reach over a 6-foot table, you know. So it does limit you slightly, but no, nice. Well, luckily those bases I've just ordered are not too expensive. Oh, let me get this one off. Yeah, the trick is to glue them onto these things to make them easier to paint, but also make it easy to get them back off again. So one thing I've had with the Studio Historia stuff, because they're so fragile and they don't come on these sort of, they don't come on bases, they're sort of just the feet, and you glue them to here, that if you're not careful you'll just end up breaking the feet off. And again, because of the resin I'm using, maybe he's not so tough. Yeah, if you're not careful, just ping it. Right, so we've got another Napoleon we can use. Yeah, why not? Let's give it a Napoleon. Now, there is a slight difference to these bases, the top and the bottom, just because it's a very, very slight chamfer. I like it being done. Ah, good. Well, this is a almost firing. I don't know what this gun is, to be honest. They're all just sort of stood around, relaxing, which is fine. He can stand there. It's like he's going over to the lanyard. He's going to stand back a bit. Our campaign will last from now until about February, with morale and losses and depleting units. We have played Valor and Fortitude, but decided to go Black Powder. Each side will pick an army. Each side will pick an army C in C. Is that like a commander? Is that what that's meant to be? Sorry, I'm not so good at my abbreviations. But yeah, nice. I like the look of Valor and Fortitude because of the cards system, like pulling out cards and adding random stuff to it. But I think Black Powder. I've not played Black Powder, but I think if you just want to get on with the game, it's quite a good system. But there we go. Artillery based up. And now it's on to... So the whole point of, like, the whole idea now with my artillery is I want to do 2 gun batteries rather than the single. So this is just fleshing out that collection. Right, let's get on with the rock bridge. So 2 red guns. Now, obviously, the Rockridge, we went over this last time. Mark will remember the name of the guns if he wants to quote them in the chat, if he's still here. But the Rockridge artillery is obviously part of Stonewall's brigade at the very start of the war, and they had red gun carriages, and I think that just looks cool. It'd be cool to have that on the table, so that's what we're going with. And I'm gonna make them predominantly grey with maybe some Union blue trousers. If I can find it. What's doing there? I'll find the paint now. Ah, here we go. The Bible Gang, exactly. Was it Matthew, John, Luke, and I forget. So yes, he was, because he was a reverend or something like that. The apostles. Yeah, he was a reverend, the guy, or whatever religious title he had, who ran the Rockridge Artillery. So yeah, he named all the guns. So whether I just keep this as a 2-gun battery or maybe make 4 guns, just so I've got the 4 guns, as they're probably the most famous artillery unit. The 4th one is marked. Is it? Yeah, I'm not so sure. I think you're just saying that because you want to be in the gun crew. I can't help it that my name's in there. I can't help that. Matthew, Luke, and John, maybe Mark. Okay, that's fine. We'll fact check it. I don't know my Bible, unfortunately. So these guys are in shirts. So this guy's... Oh, I've missed a bit. This guy's going to be in grey trousers, and the other guy's going to be in blue. But yeah. So yeah, maybe we'll decide. We'll decide if maybe at some point we'll have a think and go, do we want to just do the 4 guns? I think it would be fun, and I like anything with a bit of colour to the table. I quite like, and I think this, just having these red guns, I think would add that colour. Commander in Chief. I was like Chief in Commands. That's what I was going through my head, Thomas. But yeah, very nice. Yeah, I think anything on the table having like these red gun carriages just makes things stand out a bit, and it's nice to have on there. So even if we end up using the Rockridge Artillery and splitting them into two gun batteries, we can still do the 4 guns. Just if I ever used them as game pieces, they would be yeah, 2 independent batteries. That would be nice to do, I think. Right, yes, Commander in Chief. So each team of 7 will pick a commander with slightly modified rules. Then we will draw cards to pick special rules. So I could draw a card that makes me cowardly. Oh, that's cool. Have a bit of characteristic for the generals. But like, yeah, anything that adds like a role-playing effect, I think's fun. Assuming you don't get a real bad one that makes it unplayable. But yeah, I don't mind that. I think that's a nice touch to the game you guys are playing. Thomas, you've helped him out. Yes, it's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, named for the 4 writers of the New Testament of the Gospel. Yes. All right, Mark, you can have that one. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so here we go. Question to you, everybody. Shall I give these guys red keppies? Because I know I'll have to Google it again, but I'm going to have to get this guy's name up, unless anyone's put it in the chat. I know he wore red. Pendleton. I know he wore red hats. Shall I just make them super red? And again, like some of them, like a lot of the US Army wore red keppies, and the Confederates brought it over. Just makes it a little bit different, doesn't it? And again, just brings that colour to the table, which is quite nice. Yeah, go on. We'll give this guy a red hat, please. Hooray. Well, tell you what, Mark, and you can have one of these guns. You can be one of them. I'll let you pick. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not going to let you pick, because you've already picked. I said it at the start of the stream, some of you guys might miss, but Mark has, in fact, donated to the channel a miniature. I wasn't going to say what it is, but I've given it away now. It's an artillery piece. So when that arrives, we will make it one of the Rockridge guns. There you go. So Although I should probably let you choose what we do with this donation, but you know. Right, let's do one. Let's now go back to. I don't want to just focus on one guy at a time. Yeah. So when that turns up, I was hoping it should have been here today in the post, and it wasn't, which is a shame. So we'll But I was saying, like, with any donations or anything to the channel, I want to, whatever we get, to spend a stream perhaps on that miniature, because the idea is any if people want to support or donate to the channel in any way, I'm just going to do it through miniatures basically, and it helps grow the collection and do it with miniatures I haven't got, so I can show off new miniatures as well to the channel, which I think is a nice way of doing it if people want to support. And yeah, then the idea is we can then spend the next stream episode painting up whatever that thing was. So yes, I was going to do that this time, but we didn't have the miniature in time, which was a shame. But yeah, next time, next one, we will get that one painted up. We'll add it to the Rockridge artillery, and then as a moment, I haven't got any plans for another gun to go into the Rockridge yet. I want them to be the metal sculpts because I like them. They're quite characterful. Characterful, is that a thing? They're quite, full of character. So maybe another artillery gun from Perry's or something like that might round it off. Right, Thomas says each team has faction-specific ones. The rebels have one called Stonewall, in which any units under that general will stand like a stone wall, and can break but isn't removed from the field. Very cool. No, that's a nice nice way to do it, mate. That's a very nice way to do it. Just bring that character into the game, because I think I'm going to talk from very lack of experience here, but for example, let's take the black powder rules that, to me, at face value, don't seem as fleshed out as other rules. When I mean fleshed out, I mean flavorful. They're very much they're there to play a nice, quick rule game. I say quick, but it's sort of why the Perrys. I say the Perry. They almost commissioned black powder because they wanted a nice, quick rule set, right? Or maybe was it John Stannard? I can't remember. And that's where black powder was birthed, the game. So, but the fact that you can go out and add this flavour, you don't necessarily need the rule system there to have, you don't need the rule to be super flavourful, the rule system, because you can add it yourself. It's something I really like about Altar of Freedom. I'm just desperate to play some games of it, because it's just got rammed full of character, and it's very the character's very much to do with the era, in my opinion. The fact that you've got all the generals being quite personalized and stuff, so it's less just blanket rule set to cover all black powder areas. It's obviously it's an American Civil War based rule set, but it comes across like it. I think they've done a really good job at that. And if there was a way of transferring that into other games, that would be quite cool. For example, you're making up your generals now. If you were to use the keywords from like Altar of Freedom, for example. Right, good question. Mark's questioning the thing. Best way to transport miniatures. Are they a pain? Yes. Is there a best way? Yeah, and there's lots of different ways of doing it. Now, I do it a cheaper way, and I transport them in. You can't really see, but on my camera here. Look on my camera. I've got these very useful boxes. I use them to transport my armies and stuff. Some people use them. They might magnetize the base, put some magnet sheeting in, and have all your miniatures magnetized to it. Or you can spend a lot of money and get some really nice carrying cases, which are great. I just haven't really got the money to do that, so I haven't. But yeah, it's now a while ago I had all my Warhammer Fantasy in one of those cases, and not pointing any fingers, but my wife broke a little too hard in the car and the whole thing came off the seat and they all just ended up a jumble on the floor. So yeah, they're not secure in that way, but there's ways of doing it. There is ways of doing it. But yeah, I use those cases. Again, it depends how much you're travelling as well. Like if you're like me, where I'm very close to my local games club or mates' houses that I game at, I can just chuck them in the car. But yeah, if you were getting the train or something somewhere, you might want one with like a proper carry case, you know. And then you can get ones that are a bit like almost rucksacks, really. I don't know if any of the guys watching at the moment, if they've got anything they would recommend, but I'm only going from my experiences of what I get up to, and yeah, I just use those cases. They suit me fine, and they stack. I'm not going to move the camera around because it will mess everything up. But I've got a shelving unit just over there, and it's just full up of them, and it's just an easy way, and you just put a label on them. Those boxes work for me as well, says Robert. Yeah, exactly. How can I support you? Would love to support you, Matt. My group love to add ourselves into our games. I have in my wargaming career led everything from Napoleon, Irish Legion to Roman Legion. Oh, cool. Yeah, no, it sounds like you've won at those games, mate. Yeah, that's really cool. I really want to one day get into doing some bigger games. At the moment, it's the time. I can't really commit the time to it. Now Lee at Battle Bunker HQ, he puts on some bigger games and he's so kind and invites me every time. Now I've gone down to a couple, but yeah, the last two he's run I've not been able to do. But yeah, we did a really nice bolt action one. I mean, it was only 2-on-2, so it wasn't a massive game, but that was really good. That was 2nd edition bolt action. That was really good fun. And again, I'm kind of, so if I'm playing in a big game, I don't mind what we're playing to a certain extent. You know, I don't think I'd particularly want to sit down and play 40k, for example. However, if someone put a big game on and invited me and said, "I'll help you through it," then I would play anything. Just that being in that sort of bigger group, having a big fun game. Yeah, it's good. Good fun. As for the support thing, yeah, Tom. So I was talking about it at the start of the stream. I don't know, it might be before people came in, but so Mark is a long-time supporter of the channel. So back in the day, I actually had, I say back in the day, like a year ago when I was doing more on the channel. Obviously, I've had a big hiatus. Hiatus, is that the right term? I don't know. I took a gap year. That's what I'd done. And I lost channel memberships. So I was actually I had channel memberships available to the channel. So I've now lost them. Yeah, I've now lost them, and then they've moved the goalposts now. So originally I met the criteria for channel memberships. So Mark very kindly was a member, so he paid a few quid a month. But yeah, they've changed the goalpost now, so I've lost that, and I'm not going to get that back for a while. But what I have done, a sabbatical, there we go. Thank you. What I've done is set up, it's just like a little wish list thing, really. And you can just go on there and just donate. So at the moment, I've put again, it's just like an online wish list of things I would like for the channel. Well, I say for the channel, you know, for me, but it's going to be part of the channel, right? So I've put some of Warlord Games, American Civil War 28mm stuff on there. And the idea is you can just, if you want to, you can go on there and then just put some money towards it. And then I get released the money and then I just order it. And yeah, which, yeah, I'm not really asking for stuff, but it's, you know, some people are generous. It just means I get my hands on some miniatures and I want to show it off on the channel. And I said the idea is if people want to do that, then I can do a stream episode about those figures that have been donated, really. Which yeah, so yeah, Mark's done a really nice thing. Has left some so with basically with this membership money that Mark gave me a long time ago, I've put into this artillery piece that should be coming in the post, and then that's it at the moment. And Mark's very kindly donated something else as well, which is on this wish list thing, which yeah, I'm going to pick up when I get the chance. So yeah, I'm gonna put it on the channel because yeah, again, it's not like I'm just asking for a box of Perry miniatures infantry, because you know I've got tons of that. I'm just gone for more specific things like some of the Warlord Games HQ guys, just because I haven't got them and I'd like them at some point. And obviously, if I end up going to buy them myself, I'll just take them off this website. But yeah, it was just a cool way of getting my getting some miniatures for the channel, which I wouldn't necessarily go out and get myself. So I'll have to put the link up. I was meant to put it in the description for the stream, but what I was going to do is just put it down. Once I finish the stream, I'll put it in the channel description for people watching this back. So but no, I just appreciate any support. And again, it's not necessarily about that purchasing stuff. It's support for the channel is coming to the streams, chatting, you know, and anyone, people subscribing as well helps the channel grow. So yeah, that's all support as well, which is nice. And I think at the moment, what I'm really focusing on the channel is I want to do my streams, because this is a way to get me to sit down and do some painting. So I just want people coming into the streams really chatting. And then the idea is once I've done this painting from the streams, I'm going to try turn out the results of the painting. I'm going to put into videos and then get some more videos back on the channel. Because again, I've had a bit of a break from it, which is a shame, but I think necessary at the time. And the idea is, yeah, I'll just get these back on the channel. Because yeah, I've got so much sat there that needs to be painted. I've got a lot of the Warlord Games infantry that is sort of near completed, and I've kind of walked away from, which is a shame. So I just need to get back on the horse. And yes, thank you, Mark. Very well said. And hanging out here is a nice way to spend your weekend. Thank you. And it's nice. I enjoy having people to chat to, so it's nice to have you guys here chatting. Again, I've been away from painting for so long. I've seen this as an opportunity to just give me an excuse to get back into painting. It's all good to chat about this fun hobby, even if I don't say, "Oh, it's not a problem, John." It's nice to have you guys in anyway, if you're chatting much or not, you know. I mean, I can just chat to myself for quite a bit, but no, it's this just gives me an opportunity to sit down and get some miniatures painted. Because yeah, a few months ago I was just looking and I was like, I've got so much stuff there that needs to be completed, and it just ain't getting done. I was like, no, I need to get on with it. And I've for years I said to myself, when the channel got to a certain size, I was going to do live streams. And then that kind of got to it where it hit that certain size, and I just never did them. I don't know whether that was just laziness or
I don't know. So now I'm like, no, come on. And coming from a content creator's point of view as well, you know, I've been not been releasing many videos, which frustrates me because I should be. Um, but live streams is a nice way to release content. But yeah, do it in a nice way because actually I'm just sitting down chatting to people. But still get those interactions. I agree. After spending a day doing uni work, it's nice to sit and paint while chatting to other people while painting. It beats me painting while poorly singing songs. Oh no, there's always time for some poorly sung songs. Yeah, I mean, I know quite a few people who do like painting. I say painting clubs. You know, they might all just get on Discord together or something like that, and just sit there painting and chatting, and it's yeah, it's good if that's what you need for that sort of painting enthusiasm, and that works. I thought it's a good way to possibly talk about the hobby, or the American Civil War in general. I like talking about it. I've again kind of stepping back from the hobby. I've kind of forgotten stuff. You know, I like to learn about the American Civil War and know stuff about it, and then kind of forgetting stuff. I just painted it over. No, he's got like corporal stripes on his coat, so I don't want to paint over it and ruin it. Because again, with contrast, you kind of sort of stuck with what he's doing. It's very good, but you just need to be a bit neater. Going from like painting with layer paints that if you make a mistake, you don't match your next colour and just go over it. Whereas this is a little bit. My group tried this, but it ended up with us going to a bar. Okay, I see where you're going. We aim to help paint a new newcomers brigade of federal infantry, but one thing. Yeah, well, I think your first problem was going to a bar, wasn't it? I imagine that never ends well. Right, is this guy gonna have a red hat? I'll give him a red hat. And we'll give this guy grey trousers and a grey top. Robert, I like watching live streams and I picked up a lot of tips I probably would not have thought of doing myself. Well, I'm hoping some of them are my tips, and I'm glad to. I mean, it's good, just especially even if like you chaps are chatting in the chat because it's teaching me things as well. So, and I think that's a good thing with having like this hobby group. You know, you can share. And I'm in a WhatsApp chat with a couple of mates, and admittedly they don't do American Civil War stuff, but we do other hobbies, and it's always helpful putting posting a picture of what you're working on, and then someone might be like, "Oh, have you done this?" Or, um, and you then pick up painting ideas or army ideas or rule ideas, and it's always helpful. We didn't start in the bar, but in someone's house. He's quite rural as well. Then originally only went to get something to eat. It's still nice to just get out amongst it with hobby friends, though, right? Even if you're not necessarily hobbying. Yeah, rather frustratingly, my hobby mates. Yeah, none of them do the American Civil War, which is fine. It's kind of niche where I am at the moment. But yeah, they play rule systems that I'm not really interested in, so I'm currently working on some Lord of the Rings stuff, just so I can get some games in, really. And so I'm not massively fussed about the rule set, but just want to get some games in with them, so I'm gonna go paint up some of that. I've just realised I should have painted his collar red, this officer. Right. So satchel and that. Cool. Yeah, we ended up spending the night talking about who the better general was. That would have been a a long process. Meade, Lee, Grant, or Jackson. Do you know what? I'm gonna be controversial and say that the folks like, for example, Jackson, Chancellorsville, I feel like Jackson ended on a high, right? Antietam, he wasn't very good. I say that like I'm an expert, but maybe he lacked in performance there. So Antietam, I'm thinking of. But yeah, one of his best fights was his last. So I think maybe that's where he just gets this sort of iconic reputation, Whereas I'm wondering if he did stick around, would he have fallen from grace slightly? There's always that argument of what if Jackson was at Gettysburg and, would that have changed the pace of the battle? Ewell was slow to act on the first day, whereas if it was Jackson, would he have done a bit better? So, yeah, it's all interesting. But yeah, I'm just not sure if Jackson was such a good general because there wasn't much opportunity for him to fail. Right, these are all going to have red hats. In fact, no, they're not. This guy's going to have a red hat. I might just chuck a button out in there. Obviously, feel free to tell me I'm wrong about my Jackson hypothesis. I'm just thinking out loud with it. Be interesting to hear people's thoughts. We settled on Major... Oh, Carney, yeah. Fighting Carney. The one-armed Irishman. Yeah, who do I think? Yeah, what ifs as well as a fun one. I mean, the American Civil War is just one big what if, isn't it? But I'd be interested to know, like, what would happen to. So Albert Sidney Johnson, if he didn't die at Shiloh, I wonder where he would go. I wonder if he would perform in the war. Johnson as well, if he got given the opportunity, I don't think he had a good run at it. I've got a soft spot for PGT Beauregard, and I just wonder if he could have done better as well. He seemed quite. I know he was always ill. He's an artillery officer, so they tend to be pretty good. Right, a lot of red hats here, which is fine. Is it Reno as well? Reno's a good general, isn't he? Is he killed at Second Manassas? I can't remember. And your Reynolds. Reynolds was a good, interesting general. I think I rate Grant. I think he was a product of the war. You know, the war got tougher and generals had to be a bit more brutal. And boy was he. He was industrial, wasn't he, Grant? I think. Alright. So we need Nagaros Dunes, wherever that is here. We've got one Kepi that two Kepis. Actually no, he's gonna be grey. Because there's not a lot of grey on this guy. Personally, I think was allowed to recruit for the Irish Brigade after Chancellor, we would have a lot more epic charges made by the Irish. Also rate Sweeney. Yeah, I mean, that's the funny thing with the Union, how they didn't necessarily reinforce regiments. Which is interesting, because, yeah, you've got, like, the Irish Brigade that were basically... Well, they were all basically killed off at Gettysburg, weren't they? More or less, or lost their effective fighting capacity. The Iron Brigade as well. You know, if they reinforced these units, they would have. You know, it's almost like they sacrificed the experience. So you had these big experienced brigades that were allowed to just dwindle away. I don't know if that was just political. I don't know if it's because they would rather raise new regiments than keep old ones going, because people wanted political colonelships. Who knows? It's a shame regardless, because, yeah, I think it's kind of sad to see units like the Iron Brigade just fizzle out to nothing. All right. Right, quite a few shirts here, so let's get these shirts painted. The 69th, 88th, 63rd were 3,000 strong in May 62. By May 63, they had 200 men. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those weird... Obviously, like the Confederacy, they would replenish units. Whereas, yeah, the Union just had a fascination with just creating new ones rather than reinforcing old ones. Which is, you think, mad, because you say you've got a captain in the 69th New York where there's like 160 of them. You've got this captain. Like, if you were go, okay, now we're going to replenish your unit, we're going to give you 200 more men to get your regiment up, then you've got this really experienced captain given a load of new soldiers. Whereas if you potentially went into a new regiment, you might not have that experience in the staff or the officers. Yeah, but that's just one of them things. I think if I could choose it, I would have just, yeah, replenished numbers rather than creating new regiments. RC Paint Service and Gaming, welcome in. That's going to be a tough question to answer. Where are the figures from? So a while ago, I bought a bundle of miniatures off eBay, and there was about 60 miniatures all chucked in a box, and they were all artillery miniatures. So what I've done is just basically piece together what firing teams I can. So they're kind of from all lots of different ranges, so I can't actually tell you. I can spot quite a few from Perry's, so I know there's a few from Perry's. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe there's some Foundry in here, Wargames Foundry, but no, I can't really say for sure. So sorry. But welcome into the chat. Welcome into the stream. But if anyone recognises any of them and knows where they're from, please do share, because then I'll know. But they are American Civil War artillery miniatures from somewhere. They're nice. They're all majority metal sculpts. In fact, all these are metal sculpts that I'm painting up at the moment. I've got some Perry plastics on the side ready to be painted up. But these specific ones are metal. And they're just absolutely rammed with detail. It's nice. Nice to paint them. I'm enjoying them. A captain of the 69th was born close to me. He joined in 1861 and was only promoted once to 1864. He rallied the 69th at Antietam and commanded the 69th at Chancellorsville. Oh, wow. It's impressive. But then why did he only get promoted once? Seems strange. The high casualty rate. But then I guess this is where the enlistments come up as well. Obviously, if they were on a shorter enlistment, you find these men would just go join another regiment. Or you might find the regiment would almost like go out of service. Go out of service and go straight into another regiment and basically form another regiment. It's kind of what you have with the Iron Brigade, don't you, to a certain extent, when they're gone. I think they go in and form another, I think it's A company of one of the Wisconsin units. Go and form a large part of another regiment. Is that right? Especially when some of these regiments had proud history in the war. Seems sad to just see them whittle out. Or some of them where they paid so highly during the war in certain engagements to not be there to see the war's end, you know. Going like, for example, the Iron Brigade, they were more or less disbanded by the time the end of the war came around. It's just sad. This in brown. Good old shake. So this Wildwood, I'm going to paint his hat. Guy's got a hat. And I'm using this for all the leather straps as well. He was wounded once at Petersburg. I also have the most comprehensive service record on him. Captain James E. McGee would become an author after the war and have 7 kids. Oh, wow. What did he what did he write? Was it all to do with the American Civil War? And I guess he's got the experience on it. Are you working on anything, RC? Painting on anything tonight, or are you just having a relaxed one? I'm having a fairly relaxed one. Right. Let's let them dry. He wrote books on the Irish history and saints. Oh wow. An Irish patriot. I always like that. I find that so interesting with Mahar basically forming the Irish Brigade because he wants to train up Irish troops to take back to the UK to fight the British. So his idea is he'll form this brigade and then just make them into tough fighting men during the American Civil War to take them back to Ireland. Right, it's going to have to be. I'm going to do both stripes brown. He's got two straps for some reason, but he's only got one bag. Don't know what that's about. Cool. He knew me and he was 15 and was Mahar, and he was 15 when I was during the 1848 rebellion. Yeah, it's crazy. Coming together. Quite a bit of red, maybe too much red on him, but I like it. Looks nice. They're an artillery unit, so they're going to have striking red details. Again, for tabletop games, I think just having that flash of colour looks smart. Quick glance, you can tell who they are. So proud artilleryman from Virginia. Nothing at the moment. Shelf of Shame is growing, but these videos gives me a vibe for starting again. But busy playing board games with my 4.5-year-old grandson. Ah, nice. What board games are you playing? Yeah, my Shelf of Shame was getting very big, and that's sort of basically what sparked doing these live streams. Was gives me an opportunity to just sit down and put some hours into painting. Because yes, so going back to where these artillery from when you were asking a while ago, I don't know, let's say a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, I bought a bulk lot from eBay. And they've just sat here, and I'm like, it just seems it's a shame, you know. So I was like, I want to paint some miniatures. I want to get some units done. Artillery are small units. So yeah, and I've changed my painting style up to accommodate the batch paint to come. So I'm trying to use a lot more contrast paints now. And that just helps me rattle through these units. Oops, painting. Let's do that. But yeah, what board games are you playing at the moment? Anyone recommend a good place for Union infantry in greatcoats? Right. Raven Banner. Yeah, I was going to say Raven Banner. I've actually got some of their officers in greatcoats. They're sat in a box to the side of me, because I bought them a long time ago. So that Raven Banner does a nice range of greatcoats. RC says Steve Barber. You've got First Corps do some greatcoat infantry as well. Obviously, First Corps are quite bulky, in my opinion, sculpt wise, but they look nice. Is that what I can think of at the moment? I think so, yeah. I know Studio Historia are working on some great coats on their next campaign, but I don't know when that will be. But yeah, great coat miniatures are nice. I do like the great coats. So I've got some, I think First Corps. Again, I think I bought some off a friend, bought their collection of miniatures. And there were some great coat miniatures there. And they're actually painted up as my 28th Massachusetts, I believe. But I'm not sure what the manufacturer is. They look like First Corps, but I don't know. Have considered Raven Banner, haven't got them before, but I will check out Steve Barber and First Corps. Yeah, I quite liked yeah, I was looking at the Raven Banner after the last stream, and they're surprisingly quite small in sculpt size. Like they match up to the Perry plastics well, but with other manufacturers like these metals here, these guys are actually pretty big. They're quite chunky. And then line them up next to Raven Banner. They Raven Banner look tiny. But the Raven Banner stuff I bought are all in HQ. Everyone does the Irish Brigade in greatcoats. Yeah, I think that's because of Fredericksburg, right? So yeah, you get the Irish, the sprig of, is it mistletoe? I don't know what they wore when they're at. Yeah, they have that. It's actually funny we're talking about Steve Barber, because Steve Barber's where I bought my bucktail heads from. So he does a nice set of bucktail heads. And in one of my, I bought like 24 bucktail heads, and one of them was an Irish Brigade head with a little sprig. I also accidentally put it in there. So in my bucktail regiment, there's a guy with a real thin looking bucktail. Real leaf looking bucktail. Everyone does the Irish here. You guys want to see evergreen boxwood sprigs. Thank you. I knew there's some sort of sprig. I'd like to do some more greatcoat infantry. They look smart. Similar to how I quite like my infantry with backpacks. I'd like to do some more greatcoats. I'll have to pick a unit at some point for yeah, I'll have to pick a unit that's going to be based around that campaign and gives me an excuse to get some greatcoats painted up. So I mean, a lot of my collection's based around Gettysburg, so going to be. They certainly won't be in greatcoats. Bucktails did have a lot of Irish in them. Well, yeah, they're Pennsylvania, aren't they? I assume there was quite a lot of Bucktail regiments. Now I've got like mine as the, I want to say the 42nd Bucktails, 42nd Pennsylvania, but by the sound of it, there was quite a few. Am I right in saying that, or am I wrong? Do tell me if I'm wrong. But yes, changing subjects very slightly. Whilst I wait for someone to put in the chat. About the Bucktails. Yeah, the next, so Mark's gifted artillery piece that will be turning up this week. We'll get him painted up as another gun for the Rock Ridge Artillery, and that will be the gun Mark. So his namesake. That'd be cool. And then at some point we'll pick up another gun and have it as the last one. I don't know if I write their name somewhere on the carriages. That could be quite cool. I might look into it and see if they were written on the guns or anything, and try translate that into my miniatures. Worst case, I can just put them on the base, like a little nameplate on the base, because I think that would be fun to model. Boots. My collection is based around the peninsula to Antietam. I only know the 13th pencil. 13th, thank you. So, right, the 13th Pennsylvania, I think they're also known as the 42nd or something like that, because you had the reserve regiment. So, a lot of the Pennsylvanian regiments, they would have one numerical classification, and then it'd be like brackets, the so-and-so reserves. So, yeah, I think you might find, so if you look at the reserve, like the reserve Pennsylvania Reserve Brigade or Division, a lot of them will have different numerical classifications, because they'll be like, oh, they're the 60th Pennsylvania, but they're the 16th Reserve Pennsylvania, if that makes sense. So I think that, yeah. Because I was been looking at some, I can't remember why, but I've been looking at some of the Pennsylvania reserves for my American Civil War stuff. I know it's not ACW, but I heard that Warlord is going to do some plans war for Pony Wars. Has anyone else heard of it? I'm not really in the loop with anything like that at the moment. I want to say it rings a bell from a long time ago, but I don't know. I think this might reign from an interview of John Stannard where he said about it. But yeah, I can't say I've heard of anything from my neck of the woods. But yeah, I'm not really in the loop with all the gossip at the moment. So yeah, I can't really say. I'm not really clued up on the Pony Wars stuff anyway, to be honest. Couldn't really tell you much about it. I'm really hoping they release some more 28mm American Civil War.
Because I'm not really sure how fleshed out the range was Forgotten Glorious when they bought it. Like, I don't know what's left to expect. I know someone's mentioned in a previous stream about them being, I think they've got some Iron Brigade miniatures. Forgotten Glorious, but yeah, it'd be nice to see some more. Again, I'm not really clued up on the Forgotten Glorious range. I checked it out a long time ago when I was looking to do my 13th Brooklyn. 14th Brooklyn, sorry. I've got 13th in my head from the Pennsylvania reserves. Yeah, I was looking to do 14th Brooklyn, and I found the Forgotten Glorious range, and I was like, oh, this is lush. And then found out they were discontinued. So yeah, I've never really checked out the whole shop and what's actually in the potential package that Games Workshop, Warlord Games bought, because it'd be quite cool to see what else there is, if we're going to get anything else. Have I already got the black out? No, no. Paint. No, it's right there. From what I've seen, a video of Warlord Open Day, we have some new Zouave officers and Iron Brigade Regiment, but it was in the background of the video, Ministry of Ministers video, I think. Oh, I'll check it out. Zouave officers would be cool. I'd be up for changing that. So, with the Warlord Games range, I've got all the infantry. I just want to pick up some officers here and there. So, yeah, going back to my my little wish list page I set up, it's just sort of all of the officers and that, because it's stuff I want to get, but not in a position to get right now, if that makes sense. But officers is something that I need to really work on with my army, because when I first started doing my army, it was all done on like all the officers like were individually based. Whereas now I want to spend a bit of time and make them a bit more of a nice looking base, like a bit of a diorama, and have multiple officers on the base and stuff. So yeah, it's kind of, I need to spend a bit of time and do it properly. Which is something I need to get around to. I keep putting it off. But I've got some officers painted up already. And I've got a load ready to paint, so I just need to get on with it and get some nice bases. It's kind of what I've done with this artillery stuff. I've got two HQ units for the artillery, so just do some sort of like HQ stuff, which yeah, just be nice to get into. RC says 13th Pennsylvania Reserve Regiment, also known as the 42nd Pennsylvania Volunteer Infantry, the 1st Pennsylvania Rifles, Kane's Rifles, or simply the Bucktails. Yeah, so I think they were like originally when they were raised, they're kind of prized hunters, hence the bucktail side of it, where they wore the tail of a buck to show that they're a good shot and a fine marksman, because they could hunt the animal. Something along them lines, I think. Could be wrong, but yeah. So, and yeah, I think they all had rifles. A while ago, I went to a show. So it was like a reenactment show, and it was American Civil War and English Civil War. And the American Civil War they had there, the Union regiment they had there were Bucktails, which was quite cool. So I got to see them in action with all their gear on, and they were skirmishing against some Confederates.
I mean, there's only like 20 aside, so it wasn't massive, but still quite cool. Mark, I think that's actually near where we live. That show, so I'll have to see if they do it again. Right, see you later, John. Thanks for popping by, mate. Appreciate it, and hopefully catch you next time, possibly. But yeah, thanks for stopping by and have a good night shift, mate. Thomas said, I would love some Warlord resin dismounted cavalry like the Soldier of Fortune figure that was a dismounted US cavalry sergeant. Yeah, that's a nice looking miniature. I can't buy it. It's discontinued at the moment, sold out. I guess it was like I don't know, whether it's just a limited edition thing. I believe the Bucktails did have sharp rifles. They had rifles, I know that. Because I've modelled them in just rifled muskets. So I just basically got a Perry miniature plastic box set. And then just glued Bucktails on. And it was only afterwards I realised they were meant to have rifles. And I was like, oh. So yeah. Yeah, Mark, I have a feeling that it's near us somewhere. Because yeah, I went to this show good a few years ago. It was when Amelia, my daughter, was like 2, so it's like 4 years ago. But yeah, it was really cool. They had some cannons, so they had like a 3/4 size Parrot rifle, which is one of these artillery pieces I've done up. Because I think on a 3/4 size cannon in the UK, you can own it on a shotgun license. So yeah, it was really cool. But yeah. But yeah, going back to the dismounted cavalry. Sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, that would be cool to have some dismounted cavalry. That's something I need to flesh out my collection as cavalry. It's not something I've done. I've got loads kicking around. I've got a load of plastic Perrys. I've 3D printed some cavalry from Studio Historia, which isn't quite finished. I've got to print some more. And then a while ago, I've not actually put it on the channel, I don't think. But when I bought this artillery, I bought a load of dismounted cavalry. And again, I don't know what manufacturer it's from or anything. But I've done up 3 or 4 regiments worth of dismounted cavalry, which I want to basically have as hang on, give my brain a sec. It's going to be Devon's brigade from the name escapes me. First day of Gettysburg cavalry division under I completely forgot. It's going to annoy me. Sam Elliott plays him in the film. I give up. Someone will put it in the chat. I've had a long weekend. Again, I'm a bit under the weather. I can't really think about. But yeah, so Devon's brigade is going to be one of 2 brigades in this division that hold off Heath's division on the first day of Gettysburg. I can't believe I can't remember his name. You were lucky enough to get the Soldier of Fortune Cavalry Sergeant, one of my favourite figures. John Buford, thank you. Oh, how did I'm melted. I've had a long weekend. I'm melted. Buford's Cavalry Division, yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to do Devon's brigade, and then the other brigade escapes me, but I'll probably do that as well. So these are all like metal sculpts. Not massive fan of the sculpt. What am I saying? Not a massive fan of these metal sculpts of the cavalry because I don't know what manufacturer they are. I wouldn't buy them, but the fact that I just bought them in a bundle, I painted them up and I'm kind of happy with them. Mark says 1883. Not sure what you mean. Do you mean Yellowstone 1883? Because not quite. No, so John Buford's he's a cavalry commander from Gamble's brigade. Thank you. A while ago I put it all on paper. I was like, so I'm going to do these brigades, blah blah blah, and it's all escaped me and I've forgotten it. No, so John Buford on the first day of Gettysburg, he rocks up to town. Oh, the film Sam Elliott was in was the film Gettysburg, is what we're on about. Sam Elliott's in actually a really good. I could talk about Sam Elliott all the time. I really like him. I like him as an actor. I think he's great.
but yes. So yeah, basically Battle of Gettysburg. Sam Elliott plays a divisional commander for cavalry. He rocks up to Gettysburg on the first day and basically bumps into the Confederates. So he fights like hell to kind of hold a key ground, waiting for his infantry to come up. So he's credited on basically helping the Union not to have such a bad time. So him and his troops just got chewed up in the first day, and then end up basically looking after the baggage for the rest of the battle. But yeah, he's great in Gettysburg. He's only in it for a little bit, which is a shame. But yeah, he's got really cool scenes. So yeah, he's defending Gettysburg, and then you get Reynolds turn up with the Iron Brigade and Lysander Cutler's Brigade of the First Corps. So they rock up with 11th Corps as well, I think, on the first day, and then they get basically pushed out of Gettysburg by Heath's division, and they all get chewed up real bad. And then the Iron Brigade then sort of shift over to Colts Hill on the rest of the battle and have a big fight there with really old blokes, really old general. I think he's like one of the oldest generals on the field. His name escapes me, but yeah, he is great in that film. He is the high ground. I can see them now, boys in blue. Yeah, Gamble and Devon were both Irishmen. Yeah, Devon comes across really cool in the film. I really like him. I visited Gamble's hometown. As for the key ground, you mean the high ground? Yes, thank you, Thomas. Yeah, he is great in that film. Yeah. At first, I thought that scene was like really overacted, and maybe it is, but it's good. It's just, yeah, very good. Right, let's get back on with this, shall we? Let's paint the wood. The high ground. Oh, gotta where I'm putting my paints. Anyway, Mark, go watch the film. It's a good film. Maybe I'll surprise you with a Discord film watch at some point. We'll watch Gettysburg. Although it's like 4.5 hours long, so not sure either of us are up for that on a work night. I think I always I feel like Gettysburg is the Americans' Waterloo film, We've got Waterloo, which is just a massive war epic. So they've got Gettysburg. I like Gettysburg, though. I do like it as a film. I think it's great. Very enjoyable. We'll have to start well early, and you don't watch war films. Well, you don't watch any films, so it's breaking that tradition regardless, isn't it? It's technically a war film. I tried to get my brother to watch it years ago because he's really into Waterloo. He got me onto Waterloo, the film. I was like, hey, check out this American Waterloo, but yeah, he wasn't so sold on it. Watched Gettysburg so many times while I had 3 classes at uni. Even got the RA to put it on for movie night. That was a long night. Yeah, to be honest, I've not watched Gettysburg in a while. Maybe I'm due a night. Maybe next weekend. Actually, maybe I can treat my missus to it because we've got a night away from the kid next Saturday. So maybe I'll treat her to it. I don't know if she would see it like that, though. Not sure she would. Torture, she might say, rather than treat. It's history, though. Not our history, that's the only thing. I can't claim it on that, can I? It's American history.
She may see it as hell. I would put money on it that she would. I don't think she would appreciate it at all. We are blasting through this. Although we've only done 2 guns this time. I think last time we batch painted what, like six guns up and HQ crew, headquarters crew. This time we've done a bit less, but it's been nice. There's something about metal miniatures. They have so much character packed in. Everything's just that little bit more pronounced, and then I think mixing it with these contrast paints, they just work really well. Need to find out who sculpts these are, but you know. Right, have you got any yellow? I think Perry's are quite identifiable, I think. Whereas these, I'm not really sure. They could be Wargames Foundry. Some of these. I don't own enough of Wargames Foundry to know. That's something I'd really like to branch into with some other units and get some Wargames Foundry stuff, because they've got some real nice looking units. Real nice looking models. Treat myself with that. Right, am I... yeah. Yeah, they got some really nice stuff at Wargames Foundry. Kind of like, if I was buying artillery units, I think artillery's, like, if you want to sample some other companies, like, rather than buying a 24-man or 32-man unit for like 50 quid, you can just go cheaper and just buy an artillery crew. Although Wargames Foundry's a bit... I was looking the other day, and it's like £16 for a 6-man crew. Which I don't think that's bad, if I'm honest. I think that's okay, and that comes with like, I think a 6-man crew and then a couple of like a little water bucket and some cannonballs and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, I don't mind that, but it doesn't come with a gun. And then to buy a gun through Wargames Foundry, it's £14. So it's like £30 to have a 6-gun crew and gun. Whereas Perry Miniatures is £12 for a 4-man crew and gun. £12. So for the same price of Wargames Foundry, you can basically get 2 guns from Perry's. But that's sort of not the point, because sometimes it's nice just having different sculpts, and that's why you go to other companies. So, but yeah. Right, these guys are looking good. Let's go some flesh. Let me show off what I've done so far, I guess. I think when the flesh goes in, it just stands out a bit more. And again, these are pretty... Oh, I need to paint this water bottle. These are pretty bog standard paint schemes, you know. I'm not showing them off for being impressively painted. It's more about getting them on the table. I'm happy with them, which is what counts, I think. Right, white. I need a white, so I'm going to colour in this officer's canteen strap, and then the canteen I'll either do brown or maybe blue. I do like the blue canteens because, again, it just gets a bit of colour on there. What I call the Zouave effect. Yeah. I think if you've got the opportunity to paint Zouaves for your army, paint Zouaves for your army. Get some flash and colour on the table. That's what I say. Yeah, I want to mix more companies into my army, mostly Perry's and a few Warlord units, but around 95% Perry. That's pretty much exactly the same as me. And Perry's do a job very, very well.
there's two Perrys, right? There's plastic Perrys and metal Perrys. Plastic Perrys do a job very well, and that's just getting bulk troops on the table. And they are nice miniatures. They are nice. Then you've got metal Perrys, which are lovely as well. I've got a couple of metal regiments of Perrys, got some artillery of Perrys, got every Perry officer, mounted officer going, I think. I think there's just one dismounted HQ like pack that I don't own. Or maybe two, and that's like the early war Confederate stuff. But apart from that, I've pretty much got all their HQ stuff in metals, which are fantastic. But yeah, then there's other companies out there that are just great. For example, Wargames Foundry, I really like the look of their stuff. Crusader, I've bought some of the Crusader HQ packs. Some of the Crusader stuff looks really nice. First Corps, I bought some of the First Corps stuff. I quite like that. And then obviously Warlord Games. So I've got all the Warlord infantry currently. I'm going to work my way through the other stuff. I think I might pick up another artillery box set of Warlords because it is nice sculpts, the Warlord stuff for the artillery. And then maybe the officers. I have a few metal Perry gun crews and cannons and a few soldiers and shirts mixed into my Irish Brigade. Yeah, I've not gone down the shirts routes because I consider it sort of early war and it's just not something I've done. But I think I do like a shirt regiment. That's why I want to do the Fire Zouaves. Is it the 11th New York Fire Zouaves? I want to do them, but obviously the Perrys have them all in shirts and fezzes and stuff, which I think would look really nice. It's just I've never got around to it. And maybe I will. Maybe I'll treat myself. I need to consolidate my collection at the moment. I really need to just start, rather than just having tons of regiments, I want to start piecing them into brigades and then have brigade command, artillery, and then I can branch out. It's just how I want to figure it out in my head, I think. Right, we'll do another 5 minutes. I'll get some flesh onto these guys, and then I'll probably end the stream there. And then in between now and next stream, I think I'll try get these 2 guns finished. So I'll I mean they're almost done anyways. Nothing really left to finish. I'll get them varnished up, and then they can be based. And then yeah, we've got another gun. We'll add the gun of Mark next time. And then yeah, we got all those spare artillery crews. So I've still got 4 artillery crews sat here that need painting up. So we'll have to get the collection out and just figure out what side I need. If I need more Confederates or if I need some more Union. You've got some Studio Historia models as well. 3 if I remember. General Maha, Colonel Kelly, and Father Corby. Oh, nice. Yeah. So I've got some. I've got a load. I've printed off over 100 infantry for Studio Historia, plus a couple of cavalry regiments of 8 each. A couple of those prints failed, so I need to redo them. But yeah, I've got some Studio Historia. I'm painting through it. I'm just I've chose to do this artillery instead at the moment. So if I do a infantry stream next, it'll either be finishing off my Studio Historia stuff or finishing off my Warlord Games stuff. But I like the Studio Historia stuff. It is nice. I just need to get on and finish it. But that goes through everything in my collection. I've got too much stuff sat there that needs finishing.
All right. Guys are looking a little bit better with flesh on them. They'll look nice once they're all painted up properly. It's almost like an undershirt on this guy, but I don't want him to. I want him to be bare arms. I think that looks a bit smarter. So it might just look a little bit odd. Actually, I think it looks really odd. Oh, I have to repaint these sleeves. Yeah, I was hoping that these I could have bare arms, but you see there's that crease there right by the wrist, so it's almost like he's got a undershirt on. I like the models, but don't like that they are so brittle and only attached at the feet with no supporting base like the Perrys have. Yeah, that's something I fully agree with you on, Thomas. I would if I was better at sculpting and doing supports on models, because also I just use the pre-supported models from Studio Historia. But if I was a bit more confident in it, what I'd do is go in and edit them and put like a little round base on. Because yeah, that is the downside of Studio Historia is they just break to be. I've got 3 Zouave units done, and I think I have 2 or boxes to do. The new one from Warlord Games would be cool to do. The new Zouaves. Yeah. So I've currently got the Warlord Games Zouaves painted, currently being painted as the 14th Brooklyn, and then I bought some metal ones, some metal 14th Brooklyn from another company, which then I can't remember who, and they're going to be painted up as the 11th Indiana, I think. So they're very similar uniform. They're very similar uniform to the 14th Brooklyn, but they wear like all grey. So, which again I think will still be nice, and they're Union Regiment in grey. Should probably be a bit confusing. Right, I'm gonna do his shirt sleeves yellow, or white, should I say, not skin. I just don't think that worked. I was hoping I'd get away with it because the miniatures with like rolled up sleeves I think look quite cool. Not gonna work on them now. Right, so race against time now to get this ready for. We at cut off yet? No, not yet. Cool. I have to finish my Warlord Zouaves. Done them as the 72nd Pennsylvania Fire Zouaves and the 69th Pennsylvania Backer Zouaves. The 69th Pennsylvania are trimmed in green. Am I right in thinking the 69th Pennsylvania were in another Brigadier General's name that I'm going to forget. Little Round Top. What's his name? Oh, I'm rubbish with names tonight. But yeah, in the same brigade as our mate of the 20th Maine, Chamberlain. Can't think of his commanding officer of the brigade. It's a really cool name, I can tell you that. I just can't tell you what the name is. Did you print up Buford from the Raiders? And I've not printed him yet, no. No, but I will when I get round to doing more of the cavalry division. Yeah, I think I paint. If the 69th Pennsylvania is in
Colonel Vincent Strong. Strong Vincent, there you go.
that is the chap I'm thinking of the brigade at Little Round Top. Am I right in thinking the 69th Pennsylvania were in Strong Vincent's brigade? If so, I've done them up as
I know they didn't wear. Ah, hey Jason, welcome in. Sorry, I didn't realise it was you who were asking that question, Jason. But no, I've not printed them up yet. I can show you what I've printed so far from the Raid and Raiders. Wait, Raids and Raiders is the cavalry, isn't it? So, yeah, I think I've showed them off previously, but I've got some of the 1st Virginia Cavalry printed, and then some of the Texas Lancers. So that's all I've got printed off it so far. So yeah, which yeah, really nice. I'm looking forward to getting into them. I just I think the Texas Lancers I need 3 more models printing because they kept failing. So I need to print off some more. And as for the Virginia Cavalry, I think they're pretty much all done. So yeah, they're not cured yet. They need to be cured. And, oh, here's one of my spare. I was talking about those cavalry. Dismounted cavalry I bought off eBay. Here's one of them. So don't know what manufacturer they are. So the 6th and 9th Pennsylvania were part of Webb's Philadelphia Brigade and broke Pickett's Charge. The only regiment who stayed on Stonewall's during Pickett's Charge. Also has Zouave uniform in 62. Very nice. Which ones you can take a look at files again. I might have thrown them out. It was just the Lance kept not printing. Oh yeah, so it was. I don't know if that helps, but this chap here, I basically had to add more supports in. Because he kept failing. So I think I added some more supports in. Yeah, it's the. I might be able to actually get the model up to. I can't find it now. But yeah, I got to the bottom of it eventually. So yeah, I've got these. I need taken off the supports. Oh, so I might actually have all the lancers I need. It's just, yeah, this one's with the broken support. And then who have I got here then? So that's Pierre Gustave Touton Beauregard on the back. Yeah, so it was the actual where the lance is for this is where it kept failing. So I think I put some more supports in on the lance. Well, I was thinking I was going to try reuse this one and maybe just put some rods in. Yeah, in the centre. Sorry, I wasn't being very specific. Right, so this isn't a cavalry stream, but we're going to talk about it quickly. So I've got Forest. Can't remember. PGT Beauregard. I've got Fremantle here as well. So yeah, I got Fremantle. This guy's got to be the man himself, Jeb. I assume he's got a big feather in his cap. I've got this guy who I can't remember.
It's like holding up something. I don't know. But anyway, right, I'm going to put these away because also the stream needs to end. But yeah, so I printed off a load of generals when I printed off that cavalry. So yeah, I'll have to have another dig through because if I can get that cavalry sorted, then that'll be good. Looks like Jeb. Yeah, I think it is Jeb. Yeah, so this is some cavalry, dismounted cavalry guy I got from eBay ages ago. So I don't know what sculpts are. Don't know who. If anyone tells me, then cool. But yeah, I painted those guys a long time ago. And then here's my spare officer from the Warlord Games box, which I just need to get give him a base, give him a home. Anyway, we're going to end the stream there. Artillery's almost done, obviously. Rockridge Artillery almost. The last one is Shelby. Okay, goes with the Lancers. Thank you very much. When I printed them a long time ago, and they've just been sat there, and I haven't actually got on with them. So yeah, we'll get on with the Lancers anyway. But yeah, I'm going to end the stream there. Thank you for everyone for coming watching. We're going to finish this artillery off next time. And yeah, get Mark's gun started, get that finished, and then figure out what we're going to do with the others. The other artillery. I think we'll probably do 2 Confederate guns and then the other 2 Union 3-inch ordnance with some howitzers. So yeah, cool. Right, well, thank you everybody. Yeah, so thanks everyone watching live. Thanks everyone watching on replay. I appreciate it. If you haven't, go check the other streams out maybe. See more of what we're doing getting up to this point. And then yeah, we're going to do streams every Sunday going forward until it becomes awkward, or if I'm busy then I won't do one. But yeah, so we'll get this artillery rattled away, and then I'll probably put a poll up in the channel and just see what people want us to do, whether we go into some cavalry, artillery, infantry, or maybe generals and stuff like that. But yeah, but thanks everyone popping by, and I'll catch you all next Sunday. RC, yeah, let me know what you're painting, when you're painting. I'll be interested to hear. So yeah, good night everybody. Have the enjoyable rest of your Sunday night as we go into the work week, and I'll catch you all next Sunday, same time, 8 o'clock over on here. Bye bye bye.